Is the Nexus 6P really worth $499? Let's see what $499 really gets you compared to the more expensive competition. This video because I want people to understand that when you tell someone that you paid $500 for a phone and they go, wow, that's pretty expensive, do they forget how much its competition costs? And by competition, I'm talking about the more expensive flagships here. iPhone 6s Plus, Note 5, S6 Edge Plus. These are all well-known phones and more expensive than the Nexus 6P. Let's start with pricing and storage. $500 gets you a 6P with 32 gigs of onboard storage. A 32 gig Note 5 will run you around $695 to $740. A 32 gig S6 Edge Plus, $720 to $815. These are the range of prices I pulled up from the big four carriers here in the US. And an iPhone 6s Plus doesn't even offer 32 gigs of onboard storage, but their 16 gig model already sets you back $750, so the least amount of storage at an expensive price. Even though I haven't personally owned or spent a lot of time with these phones, I believe their performance is on par with each other and its respective operating systems. It is hard for me though to not question the Note 5 and the S6 Edge Plus. With TouchWiz, I just don't know how well it performs. But I know the 6P runs smoothly, and even with less RAM than the Samsungs, and with the stock version of Android, I have yet to run into any performance problems. I'm sure the rest of the phones all perform well. I mean, we are talking about flagships here. The 6P, Note 5, and S6 Edge Plus all run 5.7-inch AMOLED displays at a 1440p resolution. The iPhone 6s Plus runs a 5.5-inch IPS LCD display at 1080p. Now I've seen all of these displays and all of them look great. The Note 5 and the S6 Edge Plus though, there's just something about them. Their displays are beautiful. And because I personally own a 6P, I'll tell you, its display looks great indoors. Outdoors though, in bright sunlight, its performance is poor. And I'm not exaggerating that or anything. In bright sunlight, the 6P's display is hard to see compared to other phones. Luckily, we have a sunny day out. Brightness is at 100% and adaptive brightness is off. So this is the brightest that you're gonna get on this phone on a sunny day. And if I go into settings, let me get into here. But you see adaptive brightness, I can't tell on the camera, but adaptive brightness is off. And the brightness setter sliding is all the way up to the top. Just FYI, it's kind of what you're gonna get in direct bright sunlight. Does that mean other phones are worth the extra $200 to $300 though? Out of all of these phones, the 6P is the only phone that has dual front-facing stereo speakers. You're paying $700 for a phone that has one speaker at the bottom. Remember that. If you're telling me that you don't use your phone's external speakers to watch YouTube, Netflix, Hulu, or listen to Pandora or Spotify, then I guess speakers don't matter to you. But let me ask you, if you're watching this YouTube video right now, are you watching it on your phone? And if you are, is your headset plugged in? Or how's that one speaker at the bottom working for you? The Nexus has been notoriously known for having subpar cameras. For me, back when I owned my first Android, a Samsung Galaxy Nexus, I never really had an issue with the camera or its quality. And I felt that way all the way up to a Nexus 6. But now that I've spent the last few months shooting video and photo testing, I feel like I have a better eye for it. Not an expert by any means, don't get me wrong here. But I will tell you that the Nexus 6P has an excellent camera and performs beautifully in low light. Even if the Note 5, S6 Edge Plus, and iPhone 6s Plus perform better in photography than the 6P, I don't really think it's by that much. I think all of these phones have great cameras, and I'm just sorry that I can't do a photo test for all of them for you guys. My one gripe though with the 6P's camera, optical image stabilization. And I'm not talking about when it comes to shooting photos, I'm talking about video. When I compared my 6P's video stabilization to my Moto X Pure Edition, it was no contest. My Moto X, and iPhone 6 for that matter, performed better with video stabilization than my 6P. That is probably one of my biggest knocks on this phone. Again, camera great, photos great, video great, video stabilization, not so much. When it comes to battery, and ever since I got 6.0.1, I've been getting about 4.5 to 5 hours of screen on time. Better battery than any phone I've owned. I know the 6S Plus carries excellent battery life as well, but to what extent I don't know. But I can't imagine it blowing the 6P's battery out the water. Seeing that the Note 5 and the S6 Edge Plus both carry 3000 mAh batteries compared to Nexus 6P's 3450 mAh battery, and the fact that both of these phones are still not officially on Marshmallow, I think the 6P has the battery beat for both of those. This makes a perfect transition to software updates. Just like Apple's iPhone, Google's Nexus gets their updates promptly. This means that when Android releases a new version of their software and you own a Nexus, expect it soon, and before any other Android phones. Because Apple doesn't let anyone else use iOS, everybody gets their updates on time. And that's because no other company is screwing around with their OS. And that's why a lot of times you hear people talk badly about Android, because manufacturers aren't updating the operating system to Jelly Bean, or Kit Kat, or Lollipop, or Marshmallow. Anyway, prompt updates is a big plus for a lot of people. If you know me, I'm a big proponent of stock Android. And like many other people say, I want my operating system the way Google intended it. No heavy skins, no different icons, just stock Android. So is the 6P still worth $500? No, really, I'm asking you. Let me tell you! I always try to do one of those fancy panning, whatever you call it, things that other professional reviewers do, but honestly, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Yeah, see?